Hello friends, welcome back to Fenny for the Soul. Today I will bring you face to face with Dr. Anil Abraham, Bengaluru based dermatologist by day and a theatre person by night. Dr. Anil likes to look at all the nonsense that's going around in the world around us, and he likes to poke fun at people and hit out at politicians, but always with dollops of humor. So sit back and enjoy this episode.
Whether it is New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve or Diwali Eve, Eid Eve, it's the same thing. I just want to go to sleep peacefully. Maybe I will have some sweet dreams that maybe Pocket Money Party will come for a platonic chit-chat. Maybe Kamala will give me extra nice cup of coffee and we have another platonic chit-chat. Not platonic with Kamala, okay? That friendly husband-wife chit-chat we will have. Something I like to sleep whichever day, it is the same plan for every eve, it is go to sleep.
Take your hand out of your pocket. Your hand is in other people's pockets most of the time. Remove that mask of decency that you put on your face when you come asking for votes. Remove that mask. And you have no authority to talk when I am talking. I am the voter. I am the ordinary person who elected, who is working all your 70-hour weeks in offices, in markets, in hospitals, especially in hospitals with doctors. We have studied for 30 or 40 years. You are the person we elected. And you come here and tell us how to do our job. Have you ever been in an emergency in your life? Have you ever come and worked over here? Have you ever resuscitated a person and saved them?
Welcome aboard flight sexy 420 to Delhi. Delhi तक की दूरी 3 घंटे में घंटा करेंगे, हम टेक ऑफ करेंगे तभी तो आप जाएंगे ना दिल्ली. आप वेट करते रहिए एयरपोर्ट पे, हम बताएंगे और शायद नहीं बताएंगे और टेक ऑफ भी करेंगे. आप वेट करते रहिए, हमारे पायलट्स न जाने कहाँ हैं. थोड़ा स्टाफिंग का प्रॉब्लम है पर आपका प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, फिर भी आपका प्रॉब्लम बन जाता है. हम डीजीसीए के साथ लड़ रहे हैं तो इसलिए आपको वेट करना पड़ेगा.
So, good morning, Doc Anil. I am catching you in your den. Not many people know that you are a practicing dermatologist, and this is some of his equipment, and this is his consulting room, and so he. Anyway, I'm going to shoot off immediately. Doc, tell me, there clearly is a theatre background. Were you part of theatre in school and college?
Yes, when people say they were part of theatre in school, it usually means they were standing like a sunflower in the background while the fairies were dancing. My theatre was a little bit more serious. We have a theatre group called Bangalore Little Theatre, and there I was in their plays as a child actor. The one that I remember is 6 Characters in Search of an Author. So it was proper rehearsals with the adults, and I got my first taste of theatre when I was in school. Studying in St. Joseph Boys High School, I got into regular theatre, and from then I worked with some of the important names of Bangalore theatre like Arundhati Raja and the Rajas, Vijay Padki and so on, and Arjun Sajnani, and I've been in plays with all of them almost for 40 years now.
Oh wow, no wonder you come out so naturally when you're doing your short reels, But tell me, what about comedy? Was comedy always an inspiration growing up?
I think I would like to think of myself as a funny person, but there was this rather serious lady, my mother, who kept all that humor in check till I grew up. And being the Malayali tiger mom, her famous sentences to me were, just you study till 10th standard and you pass, and after that everything will be wonderful. And then she said 12th standard, and then she said MBBS, and then she said MD, and I suddenly found myself standing on the edge of a precipice of old age, and I had not done anything that I wanted to do. So I said, Mrs. Abraham, enough is enough. She isn't there anymore, bless her soul. But I'm going to let all the inner humor in me come out. I'm not going to be serious and study for any more exams. So then I decided to have a balance in my life.
Fantastic. Any role models, Anil? I'm going to call you Anil.
Yes.
Any role models among comedians?
I think a lot of the Indian comedians are wonderful. I think Veerdas is definitely a role model in terms of his political content and his ability to say the truth So lots of them, in terms of radio and pranks and characters, I think Danish State has been wonderful. So there are lots whom I follow on television and I watch from a distance, but I think a lot of my humor comes from improv and the improv groups abroad, and a group we have here called The Improv, which is spearheaded by Saad Khan.
Oh, lovely. I'm always intrigued, when I started following you on Insta and on social media, that and I realized you were a dermatologist. How do you eke out that time, because you from what I've read, you do your reels in the morning, first thing in the morning.
Okay, I think it's a lot to do with South Indian filter coffee. Because when you boil water and pour it into the machine for the filter coffee to drip down, it gives you exactly 5 to 7 minutes of free time. And at that time I switch on the lights of a mirror, which has a typical theatre mirror with lights all around. And it is story, performance, editing, music, all happens in the next 10 minutes. So there is no, sometimes I find comics showing me their team, here's my photographer, my cinematographer, my music chap, my edit chap and so on. I'm the single chap who is holding the phone in his hand and doing everything. Unfortunately, I don't have the time or the wherewithal to have all this entire team, which would be wonderful to have. So any of you out there who want to be on my team, come and help me. But at the monetary state that we are in now, we'll have to start and grow together.
Wonderful, wonderful. So a little more, Anil, I want to know about the method to the humor, because I read somewhere that you look at the newspaper and the front page and some of the news pages and something you pick up.
I think it is anger, but it is anger channelized through comedy, because I think there's too much anger and hatred happening in the country right now. Not only in the country, in the whole world we're finding, people stressing on differences and things like that. When I open the morning newspaper, the newspaper is such a wonderful tool for comedy. I don't think we are giving the newspaper enough importance. You open it and you read the headlines, and everything you can either cry about or you can laugh about. I choose to laugh. And I choose to make other people laugh about it, because what can you do when sewage water is contaminating drinking water and indoor? Or the people in Delhi are still bursting crackers while they can hardly breathe. So those are things that you can either say, who are these stupid people who decide that their quality of air or their quality of water is not as important as other things? Or I can talk about, as a character, I can talk about my wife and drinking water and how everything in the world is contaminated today, including the husband-wife relationship. Then it becomes something that everyone identifies with, and whether you're leaning to the right or to the left, or you're a centrist in politics, you will still find the real interesting and funny, because I'm talking about something that's happening in your life every day.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You just now said that it's important to take a stand and say what you want to say, the freedom of speech. And you have chosen humor. How important is it to take a stand,
If you look at the history of the world, it has been art and artistic people who've always stood out with a voice against whatever's going wrong in the world. So sometimes it's through theatre, it's through street theatre, it's through comedy. I think the comedians are doing wonderful politics nowadays, and the politicians are doing a bit of comedy. So the combination is good. They're giving us a bit of our job, and our job is to pick on their job also. So I think it's always been art, it's been painting, it's graffiti on the walls, it's street theatre that's always registered a protest against anything that is going wrong. That doesn't mean everything is going wrong. There are good things happening. We can celebrate that. There are things which, as citizens, we should be standing up, showing up and speaking up about. And that is done through the realm of comedy most often nowadays.
It's also wonderful that you started writing. Times of India is you got a weekly column with the Times of India, the third edit as we call it, and you write very well also. So writing talent has always been a hidden talent, meaning you like to write. Literature seems to be close to your heart.
Yes. In fact, when they have they try to give you career counseling. The well-meaning priest in 10th standard told my mother that he is meant for the arts, so please send him to arts. And my mother said, arts is all nonsense. You cannot make a living out of art, father. Please do not feed this nonsense into his head. First you let him become a doctor or an engineer. After that he can do whatever I want. So I waited till I was 63, and finally, Amma, I am doing whatever I want, I am doing.
Yeah, amazing. So I can't stop laughing. But I'm just saying, what I find, the other thing that I find interesting is you have different looks. So can you tell us how suddenly you are looking like a lady with long hair or curls, and then you suddenly got that Hitler mustache, and so how do you do that kind of makeup, that wig and all that?
Doesn't take makeup. Unfortunately, we all keep cribbing about social media and about the advent of AI and so on. Now with Instagram, with one touch of the finger, you can get a filter which makes you look smoother skinned. You can get a mustache, you can get a baby look, you can get an old man look, you can adjust that. But remember, just by getting the look, it doesn't help. I think being a theatre person helps, because then your body language, your voice modulation, if I'm playing a lady and I'm playing like say socialite Seema, then it would become like, hello, how have you been? It's been a long time since I saw you. So the entire adjusting of the sari, the holding of the body, the fingers, the face, everything changes depending on the character. So the typical Tamilian or Kannadiga old man that I play, the one that people like a lot, the Kuppu Swami and his wife Kamala, and of course his famous neighbor Pakadmani Parvati, whom most of my readers who are not familiar with Kannada and Tamil call Pocket Money Parvati. She's not giving me pocket money, she's Pakkad Money, which means in the next house. So his character is a lot of the uncles that I see around me. So when he says, I'm not complaining, you can be sure he is complaining.
And tell me now that you're so popular on Instagram, so if you walk on MG Road in Bengaluru or on Sankey Tank or Cubbon Park, do people come up to you and talk to you, or do they recognize you in your normal avatar?
For a long time, I protected myself with those silly mustaches and characters that I play. So for a long time, I was left alone. But more recently, I think there have been a few reels where I've come as myself, or I've come without the mustache and the get-up. So especially when it's to deal with doctors being beaten up or some injustice done to doctors, I've come like Dr. Anil. And so increasingly when I'm walking on the road, people do come up, and I've got very polite fans. They'll say, if you don't mind, are you, and things like that. And very politely introduce themselves and tell me how much they're enjoying the reels. My family is absolutely, to choose a British expression, gobsmacked. They keep looking at these people and say, who are these people? Why do they know you? And sometimes it's with a patient when they're getting up after consulting with me. When they're leaving, the husband will nudge the wife and the wife will nudge the husband and say, you ask. And finally the wife gathers courage to say, I'm sorry doctor, but are you that funny person in the thing? Because here you were not funny. I think they expect performance from me after I've given them a prescription. So give them a prescription, tell them these are your medicines, and for today's laugh of the day, I'm going to do this character. But that's not happening in the clinic.
One last question, how difficult is it to keep churning out or bringing out a reel every single day? I mean, suppose you go on a vacation of 10 days to Kerala or Himachal or something, what do you do then?
I try and shoot something that's locally relevant over there, or I have a few backup reels almost always. Even for the article that you mentioned in the Times, I have backup articles which are not strictly topical. I mean, it's not about Trump entering Venezuela, which needs to be reported today or commented on today. I will have general husband-wife, domestic issues, vegetable prices, things like that, which can be run at any time. And I have a store of about 10 of those in writing for the newspaper articles and stored up as reels. Wow. And if I feel that I have a shortage of time, I'll run one of those, or I'll open the newspaper or check my social media feed and check what's topical and try to create a new one, even if it's on a holiday.
Fantastic.
The hotel bathroom mirrors have good light.
Thank you so much, Anil. Thank you so much for your time on a busy working day. So more power to you and more laughs to us.
Thank you.
Bye.